14 years ago, a pie contest launched a family business. Profits are directly impacted by Mother Nature. But after working from home for over a decade, the Stevens wouldn't have it any other way.
Chris had to travel a lot, and the job he had, they were sending him overseas. His last trip had been to Argentina, and it had been an absolute nightmare. And he come home and he said, "I'm not traveling anymore."
When I wasn't going to travel anymore, I assumed I was going to be looking for work or some other line of work. And so we decided to try to find something we could do together.
We thought and thought, and in August I entered a pie at the Champaign County Fair, and I won a blue ribbon for a pecan pie. And that's what gave us the idea to do, to have our own business and to have the bakery.
When we bought the place, it was all wood. And when we decided to put an orchard in, we cleared off 5 and 6 acres, a little bit each time, started planting trees.
Stevens Bakery, the Champaign County pie business, grew much more quickly than expected, and it wasn't long before Chris and Sharon realized that the demand for pies was greater than what the orchard could produce.
The first 2 years went by, we seen we was going to be a lot more busier selling pies than we could ever produce the apples. So we decided the next 2 orchards we'd go for you-pick or pick a variety that would sell better off the shelf than it would be for baking.
The first year we baked 50 pies for Thanksgiving in the oven in the house, and decided, well, that wasn't going to work for very long, and we started out with 1 oven, and a few years later it was like, oh my gosh, this can't keep up, we have to get something else, and now we have 3 and we're talking about getting a 4th one.
Sharon, Sue, Adrian, and Amy can bake hundreds of pies in just one day. In order to fill that many orders, a turnkey process is in place.
Well, we soon found out as we got busier and busier, the days you've got 400 pies going out, we can't be putting the pies together, so we got a walk-in freezer, and then we put them together at the beginning of the week when things are quiet and slow, and roll them in the freezer, and then we pull them out at the end of the week. Sometimes they're in there just a day, but it makes things easier on the day that we're having to bake that many.
Each pie has a different pattern cut on the top, so each baker knows exactly which fruit pie it is, making for boxing up the pies a simpler process.
What makes my pies unique are they are all made from scratch. We start the process and we make the crust from scratch. We make all the filling from scratch. We use all high quality ingredients. People don't want to buy a peach pie that's got brown spots on it, or blueberries that are all shriveled and tough, dry skin. They want good fruit in it, and we make sure that's how we make our pies.
The pies are sold on site at the bakery, delivered to Central Ohio grocers, and also available at a few farmers markets in Columbus. Pie sales are up this summer, which will offset the dismal apple crop from the orchard. When the crop is bountiful, the orchard offers you-pick opportunities in which customers can go pick their own varieties straight off the tree. But this year is no ordinary year.
It warmed up really early, and it kind of tricked all the trees. They thought it was May and it was only March, and they bloomed out early, and then we had a bunch of freezes, and probably gonna have a 10% crop, maybe 20% at best.
The year-round operation is a family affair. Chris and his son Brian take care of pruning the trees in the winter, and with a little help from the grandkids, pick and clean the apples come harvest.
You gotta get all the spray and the chemicals off that you spray throughout the season. It also gives you a chance to pick through the ones that might have a bug bite, and you're able to, set them to put them in the seconds. Once you get all your seconds, that's usually what you press your apple cider. You don't use your good ones.
Come spring, the Stevens plan on expanding the orchard by nearly 800 trees. By building on the legacy Brian Stevens' grandfather started, he hopes the future will be solid for he and his sister's children.
I think all the kids realize and understand that one day this is going to be, them doing the bacon and picking the apples, and just trying to teach them, when they're young, how to do things the best that we know how, that is, and to keep them going.